Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into something incredibly relevant to our daily lives, something that's often talked about, but perhaps not fully understood by everyone. We're going to explore how buying stock is, in a very real sense, a vote for capitalism.
That's an interesting way to put it, teacher. I've heard people say vote with your wallet for products, but for capitalism itself?
Exactly. Think about it. When a person buys a stock in a company, they're not just making an investment, they're providing that company with capital. This capital gives the company more power, more resources, and ultimately more influence in society. It's how companies grow, innovate, and shape our world.
So the more stock you buy, the more vote or influence you have. But that means people with bigger wallets have more influence, right? Like, not everyone can buy a huge amount of stock.
You've hit on a crucial point. In traditional democracy, it's one person, one vote. In the stock market, your voting power is indeed proportional to your ownership. So yes, wealthier individuals or large institutions can exert more influence. However, that doesn't mean individual investors are powerless. Far from it.
How can someone like me, who's just starting out, participate in this voting and feel like they're part of it? I'm interested in being a future stockholder, but it feels a bit overwhelming.
That's an excellent question, and it's precisely what we want to focus on for our viewers. One of the best ways for a new investor to vote and participate is through something like the S&P 500.
The S&P 500? I've heard of it, but what exactly is it and how do I get involved?
The S&P 500 is an index representing the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. It's often seen as a barometer for the overall health of the U.S. stock market. You don't buy the S&P 500 directly, but you can invest in an exchange-traded fund, or ETF, that tracks it. It's like buying a little piece of all those 500 companies at once. It's a great way to get broad market exposure, even with a smaller amount of money, and it diversifies your vote across many influential companies.
That sounds much more accessible. So if I invest in the S&P 500, I'm essentially putting my vote behind a huge chunk of the capitalist system. And I guess how those companies perform reflects broader societal trends.
Precisely. Let's look at some real-world examples. Think about the shifts in technology. Why has NVIDIA's stock gone way up, and AMD's too, while Intel has faced more challenges?
Oh, I know. NVIDIA and AMD are heavily involved in graphics processing units, especially for AI and gaming. Intel, while still big, maybe didn't adapt as quickly to those new demands, so their stock prices reflect that, right? It's like the market is voting for the companies that are driving the future of tech.
Spot on. The stock market is constantly reacting to and reflecting these societal and technological changes. When you see a company's stock price soaring, it often means investors, through their collective votes or investments, believe in that company's future, its products, and its ability to meet evolving demands. It's not just cold numbers. It's a dynamic story about what society values and where innovation is headed.
So the stock market can almost be seen as entertainment in a way, tied directly to our lives. It shows which companies are winning, which are adopting, and what the future might look like. And even as a small investor, by choosing to buy an S&P 500 ETF, I'm essentially putting my vote behind a huge chunk of the capitalist system. And I guess how those companies perform reflects broader societal trends.
Precisely. It's a living, breathing reflection of our collective economic decisions and aspirations. Even if you're not moving millions of dollars, by understanding how the market works and where you can participate, you gain a new lens to view society, technology, and your own role within it. So next time you see a stock price change, remember, it's not just a number, it's a reflection of ongoing votes shaping our capitalist world.